Isaac, it's 9:30. Would you like to begin the webinar?
Yes, please.
Please begin.
Oh,
You're the facilitator. Please begin.
good morning. My name is Isaac Wang. On behalf of the Public Works Board, I'd like to welcome and thank you for joining our 2017 Spring Infrastructure Funding Program webinar. Today's purpose for the webinar is to give you an opportunity to learn about what financing tools and assistance are available to you. You will hear about many new changes and updates for these financing options and how to access them. That's the most important thing. Staff from these funding agencies will be on hand to answer your questions. If you prefer, you can certainly contact them after the webinar concerning your specific project or inquiries. Before we start, there are a few housekeeping items that I'd like to announce. This is the first time that we use Skype, and so there may be some technical glitches, and so we ask for your patience. If there are any issues with not being able to hear the broadcast at any time, try to log out and then rejoin the meeting. Maybe that will work. We have over 160 participants registered for this webinar, and so to avoid background noise, we are going to mute all the phones and mics during the presentation. We ask that you hold your questions until all presenters have spoken, and we will have ample time for questions and answers at the end. If we do run out of time, you can certainly send in your questions to us through email or contact each program staff directly at a later time. Today's webinar will be recorded and later may be posted. And then also the PowerPoint slides will also be posted on our website. I know that each of you have already received a copy of the PowerPoint, so you can follow along. And we will start with the overview of each funding program, and the order of the PowerPoint slides is also the order of presentation. We'll start with the introduction of today's presenters. Ms. Jackie Scott with the Community Economic Revitalization Board, the CURB board. We have Ms. Allison Green with Recreation and Conservation Office. Mr. David Dunn with Department of Ecology. Karen Clarkey with Department of Health. Probert with Transportation Improvement Board. Tracy Hunter with the Evergreen Rural Water Association, Washington. She was scheduled to speak, but due to some unexpected event, she cannot be with us today, and she wants to express her apology. But she did provide PowerPoint slides for folks. If you are interested in her program, please do contact her directly. We have also Mr. Chuck Miller from Rural Community Assistance Corporation, RCAC. And then we have Ms. Sheila Lee Johnston with the Community Development Block Grant, the CDBG program. We have Mr. Allen Johnson with the Bond Cap Allocation Program, and Kerry Kaleha with Washington State Public Works Board. With that, we are going to begin the presentation, and I'm going to hand it over to Jackie Scott.
The Community Economic Revitalization Board, or CURB, is a funding program for economic development reasons. We have 3 programs within our purview. We have the Private Partner Program, Prospective Development Program, and Planning Grant Program. We are both loans and grants. This year, at this time, we have approximately $800,000 that are available through June 30th, 2017. All of those funds we currently have applications for. Additional funding may be available effective July 1, 2017, dependent upon the capital budget of the state. We are in the Senate budget and we are in the House budget, so we are hopeful that we will be in the capital budget to the tune of $8 million to $14 million. In our construction program, there is a $2 million per project loan grant limit. The interest rate is 1 to 3%, 20-year term, It's $300,000 grant, or 50% of the total award, which is ever less. Grant funds are dependent upon applicant eligibility. The planning program is a $50,000 grant program, and there is a match required. It is primarily loans, but as I said, there are grants based upon need. Applications are considered on a first-come, first-served basis. Our board meets 6 times a year, and at each meeting, they hear applications. Who is eligible for CURB? Cities, towns, counties, federally recognized tribes, municipal corporations, public work districts, special purpose districts, and quasi-municipal corporations. Eligible projects, we fund financing for public facilities and site-specific planning projects designed to attract and retain business, create permanent jobs, and promote economic development. In our construction, we have 2 programs, the Committed Private Partner Program and the Prospective Development Program. Both of those require contributions by the private partner. The Planning Feasibility Program is a grant program. Ineligible for CURB money are retail shopping development or expansion, promotion or facilitation of gambling, displacing existing jobs from one part of Washington to another, or the applicant is located outside of the jurisdiction they're doing the application. The marijuana industry businesses are not eligible to serve as a committed private partner. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Allison Green with the Recreation and Conservation Office, and our office has about 20 different funding programs. So this is a very brief overview, and I'd encourage you to contact our office if you have any questions or if you think it might even be a possibility. We have a great staff of folks that our job is to help you through the grant process and to answer eligibility questions and be a resource for you. So I'd encourage you to contact our office if any of this seems relevant to a project you might be doing. So our office is the Recreation and Conservation Office, so really anything that fits within that may be eligible. It does need to be outdoor recreation, and conservation can mean salmon recovery as well as conserving an area for wildlife or for a park or something like that. So our different programs have different eligibility criteria, but there are, in general, you are eligible if you're a city, town, county, port, special purpose district, state agency, tribe. Private landowners are eligible for some of our salmon recovery programs, nonprofits, and lead entities, which is a salmon entity. So the types of projects we do is we can do acquisition projects, development, education and planning, maintenance, restoration, or any combination, depending on the program, of course. Some types of projects that might be of interest would be parks, trails, boat access, water access, firearms and archery ranges, off-road vehicle areas, athletic fields, salmon recovery, which can mean barrier removal or acquisition or restoration, conservation areas, farmland, forest land, etc. So it really is a wide range, but if it fits into recreation and conservation, chances are it may fit into a program that we offer. We do have competitive grant programs, and they are funds that come through federal and state sources. And in general, there's a 50% match that's typical, but salmon recovery, the match is generally less. The deadlines, in general, 2018 is what you're looking at, which gives you about a year to prepare and contact our office and come up with a really strong proposal and find the matching source of funds. So again, on this slide, you'll see that the salmon recovery and Puget Sound acquisition and restoration, which is also salmon recovery, has an August 2017 deadline, but that process goes through a lead entity, which is a local process before it comes to our state agency. And so that process has generally already started, but I'd encourage you to contact our office to learn more if you are interested in that. And for all the recreation and conservation grants, it's a great time to contact us and start talking about 2018. So just to elaborate a little bit more on the types of projects, it can be anything from an urban trail through your town or a regional trail. It can be paved or backcountry experience. It can be an athletic field or campground, a swimming pool. It can be any sort of habitat protection or a riparian corridor. So a lot of different programs, and of course the archery ranges and firearms ranges, which some of you manage or have in your jurisdiction. So again, feel free to check out our website or call our office, and we are happy to help you with anything that you may need.
Fantastic. So 7 minutes, right, Isaac? So hello, I'm Dave Dunn with the Department of Ecology, and I represent specifically the water quality funding programs. Ecology, of course, funds hazardous waste cleanup, air quality, water rights, all kinds of stuff. I can't talk to you about that. What I can talk to is the water quality program. And in general, our program is eligible to public bodies, special purpose districts, cities, counties, towns, federally recognized tribes, ports. There's probably some others in there. Our program looks at largely three things for the types of projects we want to fund. We look for water quality benefit. So if there's an improvement to water of the state, whether that's the open ocean, the estuary, groundwater, river, lake, or stream, we're probably interested in funding that in some way. We want projects that have a good implementation plan. Maybe a very good idea, but if there's not the political will to carry it forward, if there's not local support or at least acceptance by ratepayers, if the permitting isn't in place, if there's problems with the local wetlands, and it doesn't look like the project's going to be able to move forward or be a success, we're less interested in funding that program, so make sure you've done your homework. Lastly, we're interested in funding cost-effective solutions. We don't have an infinite amount of grant money. We don't even have an infinite amount of loan money. We're limited in the number of projects we can fund, and frankly, your ratepayers don't want to pay more for a project if there's a less expensive solution that can achieve the same water quality protection goals. So we want our applicants to look with a careful eye at the range of projects that are out there and ensure they're picking the project that is the right fit for the problem that your community in your watershed is facing. There aren't one-size-fits-all solutions. You need to do a very skeptical analysis of the solutions that are proposed to you before you go forward. Having said that, we fund projects mostly through loan money. We have grant money available in certain circumstances, non-point projects, stormwater projects that go beyond the requirements of the permit, and wastewater projects in small communities facing a hardship by the ratepayers are the three instances where we can apply our grant funding. Skipping to the next slide. Match is required on our grants, generally 15 to 25%. Match is not required for the loans. You will be paying the loan money back. It's essentially its own match. And the loan can serve as match to any of our grants. So if you're looking for local funds, that works. Our applications are always due in October. This year's applications are due October 16. That's on a Monday. We will be out in parts of the state prior to that talking about this year's funding cycle. I'm being a little hesitant about the details of this year's funding cycle. The major news for the Clean Water SF programs, we're going through a series of rule updates. And those are not final yet. I'm very confident that we're going to adopt the rules largely as proposed, but we are still accepting public comment. The rules will not be final until at least June 7. We will be accepting comments. We'll be accepting comments through June 7. The rules will be finalized after that. I wanted to bring to your attention that we are having a webinar on May 31 at 1 o'clock going over the proposed rule changes and opportunities, ways that you can provide input to us. The major impetus for the rule were the recent amendments to the Clean Water Act, which have allowed us to offer 30-year debt. So a 30-year loan is a pretty powerful tool to make projects more affordable, and to allow our loan funds to be used for property acquisition, which was something we were prohibited from doing in the past. In addition to those changes, there are a lot of little changes around interest rates, requirements of how we can fund growth, the reserve funding requirement, probably more than I could go into in my remaining 2 minutes here, but there are significant changes. If you want to follow up on that, please come to the webinar. Looking into the future, the clean water funding programs look fairly strong. The federal government outlook for EPA is not good, but for the funding programs, the president's budget framework kind of separated those out, and the best understanding we're getting out of Congress and out of EPA is that our funding levels for our capitalization grants are going to be pretty much the same going into next year. So at least we got neutral news. In terms of our grant money, most of that comes to the state, and of course the state hasn't adopted a budget yet, but again, all of those grant programs are in the House and the Senate budget. They look like there's support for it. The argument is about which pot of money do we pay for the programs with, not whether or not we provide the funding for the grant program. So overall, I think the outlook's positive, but until the final budget's passed, I'm going to be a little cautious about saying that too. And then lastly, if you have any questions about any of the water quality funding programs, you can contact me directly, check our website, or sign up for our listserv to get periodic updates. Karen.
Hi. Excuse me. Hi, I'm Karen Clocky with Washington State Department of Health. Excuse me. And I have 6 programs to talk about, so I'll just be quick on each one. But you can contact me. Email's usually the best, but you can try to contact me by phone. First one up is our drinking water infrastructure loan program. It's our biggest program. We hope to have about $30 million available this year. It's for community and non-community water systems, both public and for-profit and not-for-profit systems. They're both private and public-owned systems. So your homeowners association, besides your cities, can apply for this. We're federally funded. We hope to have about $30 million this year. We have $3 million per jurisdiction. So you can either have one $3 million project or several that add up to $3 million. Currently, we're at the 20-year loan repayment. Our interest rates are 1 to 1.5%. We have a 1% loan fee assessed at the time of contract execution. This year, the loan program is open October 1st through November 30th. That's going to be our new annual funding cycle. And the money will be awarded when we get our grant from EPA, and that should be right after the 1st of July 2018. In this funding package, we hope to have approximately $4 to $5 million worth of grants to help moderately low-income communities and projects that are consolidations. So the next one is our consolidation grant funding. And that will be open April 2nd through May 31st of 2018. And this work can help do water system plans, small water system management plans, any of the paperwork, no construction, but any of the paperwork that you need to get done so you can consolidate a small or failing Group A water system into another municipal water system. Our next one is the one that's currently open right now. It's our pre-construction loan fund. That work can be for water system plans, small water system management program, plan amendments, feasibility studies, engineering and design, historical and cultural review, environmental reviews. This is good for cities or towns with fewer than 10,000 people. We have approximately $1.5 billion available right now, with a maximum of being $300,000. So you can contact me, email, call, and I can help you. I believe it's May 24th. We're having a webinar on it, so you guys can check our website to make sure that if you guys have any questions, we can get a hold of you, or you can get a hold of us. Okay, we have the pre-construction grant program, and that will be open April 2nd through May 31st, 2018. We're hoping to have at least $150,000 available, maximum of $30,000 per jurisdiction. And once again, that's for water system plans, small water system management programs, cities or towns that are less than 10,000 people, homeowners association. Oh, I forgot to move it. So the applications will be available April 2nd to May 31st, 2018. Once again, you can contact me. And this, oops, did I hit the wrong button? Good. Okay. Okay, here we go. Surface water protection grants. Now this one isn't me, but it's for contact Karina Hayes. Her phone number is 360-236-3114. And this is money to help for high priority drinking water source protection projects identified in a plan and supported by the Office of Drinking Water's regional office. So you have to work with your regional office, and together you guys contact Karina. There's no match required, and usually the maximum funding does not exceed $30,000. And the last one is our emergency loan, and we have money available for private public water systems, population under 10,000. If TNCs, transient non-communities, or non-transient non-communities are owned by a non-profit organization, so like if you're the Boy Scouts or the Girl Scouts, you got an emergency, we can help you. And if you're owned by a Native Indian tribe, we can help you. We'll help assist eligible communities experience the loss of a critical drinking water service or facilities due to an emergency. Now, an emergency is Mother Nature played a mean trick and dropped a tree in the middle of your reservoir. That's not, you never cleaned the reservoir, now it's rusted out. It's got to be a true natural emergency. We had somebody apply, a tree did drop to the reservoir. We had some mudslides where the lines got ripped out of the ground. So those are the type of emergencies we're talking about. There's no match required. There's $100,000 available per occurrence. So let's say you got squashed by the snow this past winter, needed some help, and now everything's thawed out and raining, and you now had a mudslide and lost your lines. We can come back and help you the second time. So we have forgiveness up to 75%, depending on your median household income and whatnot. So once again, Janet, you can contact Janet Cherry on the emergency loans, or you can contact me. Okay, next.
Well, thank you. This is Ashley Probert from the Transportation Improvement Board. I'm here to provide an overview of our upcoming programs. And what I will say out of the gate is that we just opened up for our workshops for all of our programs. It'll be the first week of June till about mid-June around the states. So I encourage you to look on our website to see which location fits best for you, whether you're in the urban category or in the small city category. So with that, I'll lead off first by saying that we are not making any major program changes for the upcoming call for projects. So if you've been through our process last year, it's pretty much the same format as before. We're anticipating, presuming board approval in mid-May, that we'll have a $114 million program to offer for this upcoming fall. And with that, I'll begin with our urban arterial program, which is designed for cities over 5,000 in population and county urban areas. And that program supports projects that enhance arterial safety, support growth and development, improve mobility and physical condition. We also focus on sustainability and constructability. Our second program, our arterial preservation program, is designed for our urban cities that are basically just over 5,000 in population, but below $2 billion in assessed value. And that's targeted at large-scale preservation projects. Our next program, our urban sidewalk program, again scheduled for fall, is designed to focus on connecting pedestrian networks in downtowns and activity centers. Moving along to our small city programs, we're actually, with expected board approval, we've actually bumped these numbers up the past couple of years, in part because we've had some underruns on other projects and just a crying need for small city preservation, particularly with the bad weather we've had over the past year or two. Specific to the small city arterial program, that's focused on basically reconstruction of our small city streets, and it's targeted towards TIB classified arterial streets. Sidewalks in downtown areas are also required as part of the project. The Small City Preservation Program is designed to focus on just basically chip seals and overlays of existing pavements with a goal of getting the pavement condition rating to at least 70 or better. And then we have our Small City Sidewalk Program, again, similar to the Urban Sidewalk Program, focusing on connecting pedestrian networks in central business districts, and that's in at about $3 million. I also wanted to call out that we are still continuing our Relight Washington program, and many have participated in that, and that's an ongoing open program. And the targeted audience on that is converting our street lights to more efficient LED lights and saving that money that you currently spend on electricity to reinstate for street maintenance. So as a quick example, for those that have participated in that, we anticipate that by helping to underwrite those costs and partnering with PUDs, that by the 8th year of a 20-year light cycle, you're already in the black in terms of energy savings. So we think that's a great program. Our Complete Streets program, that's off-cycle. We're not doing that at this particular time. But the other one that I did want to provide to you or make you aware of is one that's a short window. We're calling it the Emergency Pavement Repair Program. Our board approved that in March, and that's targeting jurisdictions under 5,000 in population or $2 billion in assessed value, so that's about 220 cities. And that's up to $50,000 grants for fixing potholes. And that application process is open now, and it closes May 31st. Our board is allocated up to $5 million for that program, and the maximum grant size is about $50,000. We've already received about 30 applications. So we're pretty excited about that one, and if you haven't sent in your information, we encourage you to do so and look on our website. It's a simple 1 to 2 page form, and we're reviewing applications on a bi-weekly paid basis, and it's first come, first served until we run out of funds. So with that, I think I've given my quick overview, and I'll pass the baton to Isaac.
Thank you. The next slides, that's the IRWA, that's the National Rural Water Association PowerPoint slides that Tracy Hunter could not speak to you today, so we'll skip that. And if you need to know more about the program, Ms. Gloria York is the person that you can contact So we'll skip to the next one, the Rural Community Assistance Corporation, RCAC. Unfortunately, Chuck may have
I need to advance the slides.
Oh, sorry. That's the program. Okay. And then that's the Miss Tracy Hunter's program. And then the next one, RCAC, Chuck Miller may have been delayed for arrival. So for now, we'll skip his slides, his presentation, and we'll pass on next to CDBG with Sheila Lee Johnson.
Good morning. CDBG has 5 grant programs funded, federal funding through HUD. Eligible applicants are rural cities and towns with a population of less than 50,000 who are not participating in a CDBG entitlement urban county consortium, or rural counties with a population of less than 200,000. Districts and nonprofits can't apply directly to CDBG, but can be subrecipients of our grant funds through cities, towns, and counties. I'm going to focus mostly on the CDBG General Purpose Grant. It's our largest grant program. The purpose of it is to benefit low and moderate income persons and households by assisting local jurisdictions to address their priority community development and housing needs. It can fund construction, acquisition, planning, housing rehabilitation, and micro-enterprise assistance. So eligible projects could be acquisition, planning, design and construction, renovation of public facilities, community facilities, and local assistance programs, those housing rehab and micro-enterprise programs. I do want to note, pre-construction and design can't be funded alone. It has to be tied to a construction project. So these are grant funds that we received through HUD. We are hoping to have the same allocation as last year, which was about $9 million. Maximum grants include $750,000 for acquisition or construction. There's a $25,000 per household or job limit. $500,000 for housing rehabilitation, again a $25,000 limit. That can go up to $35,000 if the rehab includes any lead-based paint mitigation. There's $250,000 available for micro-enterprise assistance with a $25,000 per household limit, and planning grants up to $24,000. There's no match requirement, but leveraged funds tend to be more competitive projects. We had workshops in March. Our general purpose applications are due June 1st, and this is an annual funding cycle. We hope to award grants by early September. Again, that'll be contingent on our federal funding. We don't require legislative approval, so this is approved through Commerce. We have some specialty grants, those other 4 grants, which include a one-time economic opportunity grant, which supports local economic development, so micro-enterprise. We have a housing enhancement grant. We partner with Commerce's Housing Trust Fund. CDBG can fund infrastructure in support of housing projects. We have an imminent threat grant program, and this is for natural disasters, requires a declaration of emergency. And then we have public service grants, which are a formula grant that we give annually to community action programs throughout the state. So we don't know what this year's allocation will be or next year's. We weren't included in President Trump's budget, but have some support in Congress. So we'll be accepting applications June 1st as if we will have that allocation this year. So that is the CDBG program.
Hi, I'm Alan Johnson. I'm the state's bond cap allocation program manager. The bond cap program is a little different than the typical public issue bonds that you may be familiar with. The bond cap program is targeted towards projects that are have a private element to it as they're being developed either by a for-profit business or in a public-private partnership, but they have a public benefit, and so therefore are qualified to receive the tax-exempt bonds. There are four main types of these bonds. One is the small issue manufacturing. There's also a large chunk that goes towards affordable housing. Student loans, which are very rare these days since the establishment of the federal student loan program. And then the primary category of interest to people working in infrastructure is the exempt or capital facilities bonds. And in this situation, there are the ability to get infrastructure funded if it is tied closely to a for-profit business benefit. The example would be in the city of Kashmir. They had a Treetop wanted to do an expansion of their food processing facility, and they needed some new infrastructure to serve that. Because it was tied closely to the benefit of the private business, they were eligible to fund that project through the bond cap allocation program. The funds are available on a first-come, first-served basis. Initially, at the beginning of each year, a certain percent is divided up and allocated to each of the different categories through July 1st, and then at that point, things open up and the larger pot is available to whoever's ready to proceed at that point. If you have an interest in exploring if this might be a funding option for one of your projects, my contact information is listed at the bottom of the screen or at the bottom of the slide, and I look forward to talking to you.
Thank you, Ellen. Good morning. This is Carrie Calleja. I'm here speaking with the Public Works Board construction loan program. Our eligible applicants are counties, cities, special purpose districts, and quasi-municipal organizations. Our ineligible applicants are school districts, port districts, and tribal nations. Our eligible projects are to construct, repair, or replace existing infrastructure for domestic water, sanitary sewer, stormwater, solid waste and recycling, bridges, and roads and street projects. Funding for the 2017-19 biennium available pending legislative action. We'll be having application workshops, and the information will be posted online through our Public Works website, Facebook, and other forms of social media. Loans and grant proposals are being discussed by the lawmakers, and you can see in Grove's second Substitute Bill 5033 for details. Amounts and eligibilities are to be determined, so we ask that you please stay tuned for more information, and if you have any questions, you can contact Ann Campbell, whose information is on the bottom of the slide. Thank you.
All right, let's see if we can get...
Okay, next up, we have Mr. Chuck Miller on the phone, and we are trying to see the magic of Skype to see if he can present from a far, far away galaxy, and then we can make contact with him. Barbara, I'm going to...
I don't see an app called Skype.
Are we... Chuck on?
It doesn't look like I'm able to unmute his mic.
Okay.
I'd have to unmute everyone's mic. Okay. Chuck, can you hear me? Can you please reply?
Yeah, Barbara, can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can just barely hear you on this end.
Let me.
Yeah.
Is that better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. We're working on the volume. Can you hear us?
I can hear you guys perfectly.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everybody. This is Chuck Miller with Rural Community Assistance Corporation. And RCAC has a robust environmental infrastructure loan program, as well as community facility lending program, affordable housing program, and a business loan program. So we operate several programs. But specifically today, with regard to the environmental infrastructure program, we provide loan funds for several different phases of environmental infrastructure, typically wastewater and water projects, but also solid waste and stormwater projects. We finance costs from everything from feasibility through pre-development, construction, and even do some permanent lending when the case arises, and some emergency funding as well. However, our typical project that we get involved with is feasibility funding. So for your preliminary engineering reports and your environmental report costs, we can be that interim source of funding for those. And on the pre-development side, it would be things like funding for design engineering, bond and legal counsel, and those types of costs, bid costs. So typically, our loans are up to about $50,000 for a feasibility loan. That's, again, very flexible. Sometimes we do go over that limit. And then up to about $350,000 for a pre-development loan. As far as the construction lending goes, if you have a permanent takeout source, we'll go up to a couple of million for the construction lending. And then on the permanent lending, if we were the permanent lender over time, say for a 10 or 20-year loan, we'd go up to about $100,000. So it's designed for smaller projects. Most of our short-term loans are a 1 to 3 year term. As far as the feasibility or pre-development loans, we have a 1% loan origination fee, and we have an interest rate of 5% out to 24 months. If the loan is 25 months or longer, then the rate is 5.25%. We're open year-round for applications. There's no deadline for application to us, and we tout ourselves being very quick with the loan decision and funding. So typically, within 30 days of a completed loan application, I'm able to get you a loan decision, and within roughly about another 2 weeks of that or sooner, funds are available to be drawn upon. Eligible applicants for us, much like everybody else, is nonprofit organizations, public agencies, tribes, and low-income rural communities with 50,000 population or less. The stipulation being that if USDA rural development is going to be your permanent source of financing your project, it's 10,000 or less is the qualifier for rural. We are a nonprofit lender and technical assistance provider, and we work in 13 western states, and I'm responsible for Washington and several other states for RCAC. So please call or email anytime you have even the smallest question, and I'd be happy to answer and work with you on anything you've got. Thank you very much.
Chuck, I have a question on the line about sewer line replacement quality. Raymond, can you clarify that? So Raymond is saying, Chuck, do sewer line replacements qualify for loan?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're going to open.
Just a few more items that I need to speak about.
Okay.
There are 3 more programs. Due to time conflict, the staff from those programs cannot come to our meeting today. And so very quickly, the first one is the Brownfields Revolving Loan Fund. What this is providing money for contaminated soil cleanup. And if you are interested in this program, talk to Ms. Connie Riveras. She's the person that you can speak to concerning cleanup operation and what's available and what's eligible. The other program that's a major player in the funding environment is the USDA RD, the Rural Development Project program. They provide funding for rural area with 10,000 population or less. They do provide money for any drinking water, solid waste facilities, storm waters, wastewater facilities. And also they provide money, other program for the community buildings, roads, bridge, healthcare facilities, libraries, daycare facilities, and also fire stations. And Janice Rodriguez is the person that you can speak to. And there are also on Eastern region, other staff, Martin, somebody, other folks there that you can speak to. Also, there's a local program called Local Option Capital Asset Lending Program. This is a program that's run by State Treasurer's Office. And what they do is that they provide, they issue bonds for small jurisdictions who are not able to provide funding for their infrastructures. Okay? So those are the three programs that's also available to you. They are good funding sources. Finally, I want to bring to your attention to the IACC, which is the Infrastructure Assistance Coordinating Council. This is a non-profit organization. Members consist of all the staffs from the state and federal funding agencies, as well as some of the associations, like Washington City Association, the County Association, PUDs, tribes, Water Sewer Association, so on and so forth. And we gather together to cooperate, collaborate, and also network with you folks. And so this year's IACC conference is going to be on October 24th through October 26th, 2017 in Wenatchee. And this is our annual event where folks get together and work together. So I encourage you to save the date and watch for the announcement when it's open for registration. Please do register, and we welcome to anyone who are interested in the financing infrastructure stuff. Come to the meeting. And with that, I'm going to open up for question now, because we have over 160 participants, and this is a brand new system that we're using. So we hope that you would either send your questions through chat box, or we're going to unmute you and first come, first serve. Please identify your name and then to whom your questions is addressing, which program. We'll try to manage it in a orderly fashion if we can. So I'm going to ask Barbara to help us to maybe read out the question if possible. Thank you.
No, I don't have any questions.
Oh, no, to read out questions. So
I have a question here from Gerry Allen. Are copies of the slide presentation available? Yes, Gerry, they're available on our website, pwb.wa.gov. Go to the trainings page, and you can download it from there.
Are they unmuted already?
Yes, they are unmuted.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
You may speak into the mic, or you can send us the text through the chat box. I think there's a chat box. For those of you who have the Skype business or Skype system. Okay. We have provided about 40 minutes for this purpose. So
I have a question. Any population restriction for CURB loans or grants?
No, there aren't. There's less money for urban jurisdictions than there are for rural, but population is not a factor.
He says thank you. Well. I have a question from Cynthia Lamont. Which program would be most appropriate if an agency wanted to conduct a septic systems condition assessment?
Ecology could certainly fund that, and there's grant money available.
Okay. From Ben Shoemaker. For Department of Health, do the pre-construction grants and loans fund property acquisition?
The pre-construction grants at this time do not do property acquisition. I do believe the loan can.
There we go. There's all of us. Sorry about that. I forgot about that part. Anybody have any more questions for us? Question from Michael Maurer. How competitive are loans for water and sewer districts? For which program, I suppose?
For water, our loans are always competitive, and our loans are based on health risk. The worse the health risk, the higher the point. So it doesn't matter if you're homeowners association or water district or whatever. It's based on your
sewer with sewer available to the site.
I'm sorry, we can't quite hear you. Can you speak up? Hello?
Oh, hello, this is North Shore Utility District.
Yes.
We actually had a question about Department of Ecology loans. Is there money available to get people off of functioning or failing septic systems onto available sewer? We've constructed sewer where folks have not hooked up, and their systems aren't necessarily failed yet, but we'd like to see them get over onto a sewer system.
So this would be for abandonment of the existing septic tank, construction of the side sewer, and connecting them into your sewer system. Yes, those projects are eligible, and we fund projects like that a couple every year, it seems.
I have a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, sir.
To what extent? Is it on a one home basis, or is it an area? It can be grouped into multiple homes?
It's how the project's structured. There's usually an area that needs to be addressed. Typically the projects that we finance include the sewer going to serve the area. But if the sewer is already built, we can help people connect, and we can structure it as a loan to the municipality to essentially do that work, depending on the income of the area, potentially with grant support. It's also possible to structure it as essentially a local loan program. We're not necessarily loaning you the money, we're creating a letter of credit that then individual homeowners could access to do the individual property, the individual work on their property at the, whatever interest rate subsidy or grant subsidy we're able to provide.
Thank you.
I have a series of questions here. I'm going to go at them as they came in. The first is from Gerry Allen. I am part of a small community association that is currently in the process of replacing our water tank and pumps for the community water. We have the engineering surveys and geo done and are close to needing funds for construction. Where would you suggest we go for the next phase?
Hi, this is Karen with Department of Health. We could probably help you with that, depending on your community size and your need, and we may be able to give you some grant money with that, but we have to work with you. But we do have funding for those type of projects. That loan program will be opening October 1st this year and closing November 30th. We're going to have on-site trainings in the middle of July. There's going to be one in Tumwater, one in Mount Vernon, and one in Liberty Lake. So if you look at our website, you'll be able to see the exact dates of those training locations.
Okay, next question is from Steve Hamilton. Department of Ecology, loans available to get people off of functioning or failing septic systems with sewer available?
Yes, that question was from the North Shore Utility District. You already addressed it.
All right, okay. We'll go to Joe Connell from Lake Margaret. We have received a DWSRF grant for our small surface water system at Lake Margaret to address our water TTV with the DOH. If we need additional funds for some additional work beyond the grant, are loans available for our water system?
Yes, we have a pre-construction loan that you would qualify for. Also, I'll sell other people's services while I'm here. RCAC, they can get you money pretty quick and be able to help you guys out.
Circling back to Gerry Allen, we need to replace this summer. We can't wait for your fall cycle. Is there any other funding source? Cynthia Lamont, I think that you're responding to Gerry here. You said for the current caller, Craft 3 is a nonprofit that provides low-interest loans to individual property owners. And the website is www.craft3.org. Moving on to Ben Shoemaker.
Craft 3 is essentially one of our partners that takes essentially our loan and loans it out to individuals. They're functioning right now around the Puget Sound, looking to expand to other parts of the state, but right now it's an option in
a specific geographic area.
Yes, geographic area.
Okay. Ben Shoemaker's question is for Tim. What is the 2017 emergency pavement grant ceiling? Is it $15,000 or $50,000?
Oh, sorry, it's $50,000.
50,050. Thank you so much. Cynthia, Chuck Miller. That's for Gerry. Gerry Connell at Lake Margaret, please contact Chuck Miller at RCAC. He thinks he could probably help you. Okay, that's the end of my written in conversations. Anybody want to chime in and any more questions, written or verbal? Don't be shy. We're all here. This is Joe, contact Chuck. Let's see, Joe Connell from Lake Margaret. Let's circling back to the Lake Margaret question. Okay. Joe needs to know who to contact about additional work beyond the grant. Was that you or ecology?
UH.
UH?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say you for now.
Okay, you for now.
Contact info is on the third slide. Okay, there we go. And then RCAC also chimed in. Okay. I don't have any more questions in writing. Any more questions?
the mic's open, so do feel free to speak up and or send it through the chat room. This is the opportunity for you to ask. A few programs, as you heard today, is about to have the application open and funding ready, and this is the time to ask.
I have a bad feeling that people are muted even though I unmuted them. Oh, here we go. Cynthia Lamont. PowerPoint indicates DOH pre-construction loans are for cities or towns with fewer than 10,000 people. Which program would be for more than 10,000?
If you are more the pre-construction loan program that we have right now is for the smaller communities. If you need construction loan money for larger, it's all water systems from 15 connections to as big as you can get. So you'd have to wait till the October for the regular construction loan cycle.
So she would need to apply to the regular construction loan cycle for pre-construction dollars.
No, they don't have. We don't have pre-construction dollars separated alone. She could apply for pre-construction and construction money at the same time.
All at the same time in the October loan cycle. Yeah. Okay.
Hello, my name is Pete Soderquist. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. I work for a small HOA here in North Central Washington in the Winthrop area. And my question is for Karen, I think, with DOH. And that is that we have an engineering assessment that has identified a number of priorities for our drinking water infrastructure. And so I may have heard the answer, but I'm going to ask the question anyway. In order to get the ball rolling, it sounds like I should probably plan on attending the session in July to get some more details, but what kind of documentation should we have in hand beyond just an engineering assessment in order to prepare ourselves for applying for a loan?
Well, you need to have your financial information available. You don't have to have it at our training, but have it available when the when you fill out the application, because there's a lot of things, 5-year history of your finances that they'll want to look at. You have to have a current water system plan or small water system management program.
Okay.
And those sort of things. If you don't have those things done right now, and you need to be doing that, you can apply for the pre-construction loan, which it position you better for the construction loan the following fall.
Okay. So we have that, so it sounds like we're ready to take the session and find out more.
Okay, hope to see you at Liberty Lake then.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Any more questions? Here's Cynthia Lamont again. She's replying to Chuck told her that our CAC can go up to 50,000 population depending on your plan for permanent financing. Cynthia replies to Chuck, even though we are an unincorporated area, my understanding is we are not considered a rural area and therefore are not eligible for our CAC. Type back to Cynthia. Oops. Sorry. Great. Okay, Chuck Miller responds to Cynthia. Only hurdle for RCAC is 50,000 or lower population to define as rural. Well, that's great. Yeah. Anybody else? We're wide open for questions here. Oh, here we go. Zhurong Lu again. Are there any population restrictions for RCO grants?
That's a good question. No, there's not. In some of the scoring criteria, it does factor in the need, which is partially related to population, but there's not a requirement for different programs to have a certain minimum or maximum population. The board is currently considering a proposal to consider match reductions based on certain populations, and that can be partially size, but partially economic situations of certain communities. And so the board is going to be considering this again at their May meeting next week, and so we don't have the final criteria yet, but it is possible that some of those smaller rural communities may qualify for some match reductions, which would mean the grant would cover more of the project than 50%.
Anybody else? Oh, Zhurong Lu replies, thank you.
Barbara, can these questions also answers be posted on the website also later?
The conversation, I don't have a way to capture that conversation.
Okay.
I will try, but honestly, I don't know that it's something that can be captured. Steve Hamilton asks for Ashley Probert, what are the rates available for small city sidewalk program to be coordinated with a stormwater culvert project with special purpose UD and city partnership? I think he's saying LID, sorry. What are the rates available for a small city sidewalk program to be coordinated with a stormwater culvert project and with special purpose? Looks like he typed UD and city partnership.
So what I would suggest is that sounds like it's more than just a sidewalk program or a project, that we want to reach out with our engineers and see how to coordinate the overall project and figure out the best way to get an application in the home. That's what I would say.
Okay.
Because that's more than just one project. Yeah. So I would encourage you just to call. We'll work it out.
So Steve, there's your answer.
Yeah.
Call Tim. Yeah. And Steve says thank you, he'll call.
Absolutely.
Anyone else? We have 20 minutes left, so this is an opportunity. Now, once again, I want to emphasize that you can meet the staff here, also other members face-to-face at IACC conference, where we have tech teams that if you have a project that you need funding, you can certainly call for a meeting of various funding sources staff. We'll sit together with your people, your engineer, or your city council or mayor to talk about your projects or to develop your game plan. And so that's a very good opportunity to network. You'll hear about other your colleagues what they do, what have they done with with issues or projects that you're facing, and you don't know how to resolve it, and maybe they can provide some solutions to you or what they did, the experience. And so please do come to the IACC conference. It does cost money, but it's pretty cheap nowadays compared to other conferences. And we do provide, we means the IACC and AWC do provide scholarship to assist small jurisdictions. If you are not able to spend the money, they have some scholarship for you to apply for. And so we do encourage folks to come.
And you don't need to wait for October to request a tech team. If you need a tech team now, contact Carrie Kayea at the Public Works Board. She'll throw one together for you.
Carrie is the person who will be responsible and put together the requests and organize time for you and also your engineer for your project. So please do contact her at any time. You do have her contact information on PowerPoint slide, and so she will try to assign you to the proper or appropriate agency staffs. And go to the website as well. Anyone else with questions? Don't be shy. It's okay to speak. If not, we are going to wrap it up. And once again, I want to thank all the speakers today. Also, thank you all for logging in, attend our meeting. And with that, we are concluding our webinar. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Thanks.